Hello, this is David with MonoFit Training Systems, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between working out and training as it relates to the grappling sports, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, and stuff like that. So a lot of people, when they work out, whether they know it or not, they're working out the way a bodybuilder might work out. They're doing exercises that stimulate strength and size. Now, if you are undersized, like I used to be when I was in high school, I was 100 pounds when I graduated from high school, and I gained 20 pounds when I was in Marine Corps boot camp. Most people don't gain 20 pounds, they lose weight, but I actually gained it, and then over the course of 10 years there, I gained a total of 75 pounds, and now I carry about 170. I'm about 170 pounds, and that's a very comfortable weight for me. And I worked out in a traditional manner. I try to pick up heavier weights all the time, make my muscles bigger, put on muscle mass. But once I got to a comfortable weight, and as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that for the sports of Jiu-Jitsu and for wrestling, when you're trying to maintain a certain weight, if you ever plan on competing, you need to maintain as much strength as possible or get stronger, but you don't want to put on extra muscle mass. So this is mainly for the person who might be in a place where they weigh really close to what they want to compete in, whether they're a high school or college wrestler, or they're an adult or junior competitor in jiu-jitsu or sambo or some of those other sports like that. How to get the most out of a movement. So I'm going to go with a couple, maybe 3 movements that are very, very common and popular amongst people who lift weights. And the first one is going to be the bent over row. So when you're doing a bent over row, most people have this position here, whether you kind of do it real high or a little bit lower. It's up to you and your low back health. But typically what you have is this motion here, okay? Pretty common movement, nothing special about it. And then you have somebody doing this. Now, a lot of times this happens where you're kind of heaving the weight. Now, not too many advantages there if you're trying to get very, very strong. You're creating leverage with your hips, there's a lot of big muscle groups there. Hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, and then of course you're propelling your upper back. So now you've got this kind of pendulum thing going. So, especially with gi jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of times where there's very small opportunities for movement, and sometimes your technique might not be enough, and you got to rely on some raw strength. So one of the ways that I like to do rows is a very strict row where you incorporate the scapula and you take your time, and you don't try to do heavy weight. What you try to do is a weight that you can do, say 10 to 12 reps, and after a certain amount of reps you should really start to feel that burning fire that's happening when you're starting to push your muscles to the limit. So I will demonstrate what I'm talking about. We're going to set up just like we would any other movement for a bent over row. So our feet are kind of glued into the ground, kind of anchored there. We're going to descend, slightly bent knees. And then as we pull, we're going to activate the scapula. So we're going to pull here first. That's kind of a lot of movement. If you can see, the kettlebells are kind of moving around there, right? So now we retract shoulder blades, pull, and try to keep them back the whole time. As you can see, even though I'm trying to keep them back, my body has a natural tendency to rest or to let them descend again. So by me pulling back and rotating my shoulder blades backwards and try to squeeze them together like if I'm trying to trap a ball behind them. I'm actually using a lot more muscle fibers. I'm using a lot more concentrated effort to move that weight. Now, a movement like this is probably not going to put muscle mass on you, and that's a good thing. Again, if you're trying to maintain a certain competitive weight, you're not going to really want to be putting on tons of muscle. So, you know, if you're strong like that, and you can do 12 reps in that with that tempo, with 50 or 60 pound kettlebells or dumbbells, good stuff. That's great. But you definitely don't need to be creating any kind of momentum. The other movement is push-ups, and it's a very common movement. Everybody knows how to do push-ups, just up, down, up, down. But one of the things that I guess because it's so familiar, people just use it as a warm-up, and there's a lot of strength that you can get from it. So what I'm gonna do, hopefully I can stay in frame here, is I'm gonna get down here, and I'm going to activate my pecs and my triceps, everything I've got, I'm gonna press into the ground. So now I'm kind of activated here like an angry cat. So the top of my back is rounded, okay? Now, as I descend, I'm gonna try to keep that. It's gonna be tough, but I'm gonna try to keep it. Now, when you try that on your own, you're gonna see that there's gonna be a lot more muscle recruitment in your abs. Your triceps are gonna get a lot more involved. You're really going to be recruiting muscle mass, or I'm sorry, I said that wrong. You're gonna be recruiting muscle in a way that you're not used to. By simply cranking out push-ups, 20, 30 at a time. Again, if it's a push-up contest, great, but this is not what it's about. What it's about is lean, strong muscle that you're not just wasting movements. You are concentrating on every little last element of the movement so that you can get every fiber recruited, so you can get stronger and stay at that weight that you want to be at. You can stay lean, and you're going to get way more efficient. There's a lot of things happening with stimulation of your nervous system and different things like that. I hope this helped. Just keep on checking back on this channel. We're going to be loading 30 videos in 30 days and counting. We're just going to keep on going, keep on going. We want to build a big library where you guys could really get a lot out of it. So I hope you're liking what you see, and there's going to be more of it coming soon. Thanks. Bye.